Welcome back to Just Schooner Vibes. I'm here with
Jesse Levine.
and we're here at O'Halloran's Bar. Beautiful atmosphere for this big game, but unfortunately, I felt like I said that a lot of times this season. Unfortunately, we lost, man.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think there's a better soccer bar. Certainly in New York, it's top ranked 100 in the country, and there's certainly no better Arsenal bar that I've ever been a part of here. I mean, Wednesday packed. They weren't letting people in after like 2:30, and I think at 1 o'clock. I mean, there are people at the bar were there since like apparently like 9:30, 10 a.m. So I mean, in terms of atmosphere, there's no better spot than these guys here.
You just talk about the game. What are your thoughts on the game, first and foremost?
You know, first, there's a frustration aspect to the game anytime you lose, and especially as big of a game as this one. I want to focus just on in terms of being a little bit objective in the game. You take the first 9 minutes or so, Arsenal could have been up 3-0 to start with. Declan Rice misses a header. Martinelli has a chance. Donnarumma makes an unbelievable save, and then even better on the Odegaard strike. I don't think Odegaard struck a ball that well in about 3 years. So I mean, people are asking for him to shoot, and they started off the game red hot. But hey, look, if you don't create, the game is won and lost in the boxes, and that includes goalies. And Donnarumma, he was such insane, sensational today. Saved over a goal, 2.13 in terms of goals that we should have had. Over 3 goals in terms of expectancy, but in terms of on shots on goal, it should have been over 2. Donnarumma saves 1.13 goals that game. I mean, that's without a penalty save as well.
Insane.
So, I mean, look, he's the reason that PSG won this tie. He was the reason that they won in the first leg. He's the reason that they won today. And there's going to be a lot of things that we'll talk about in a second in terms of being more clinical. But in terms of where it came down to winning and losing, it came down to PSG's goalkeeper being sensational and putting his team on his back. Very similar to the way that Courtois won Real Madrid, the Champions League 3 years ago. I saw that over 2 legs today.
Yeah, 100%. Before the game actually started, Arteta in the press conference was saying that you have to believe, and then we're going to bring out the best of us today. Did you see the best of us today, or if so, is that good enough?
The emotion runs so high, and you start out the game so hot, and you saw the pressing, and you saw the energy from there. And part of the problem with that is when you don't score that early and you exhaust all that energy, you started to see the breakaways. And thankfully, that didn't cost us there. Like, it happened to be a brilliant strike from Luis. Partey, by the way, on a play like that, cannot head the ball into the middle of the box. I mean, that needs to be cleared to the side. That needs to be cleared for a corner.
100%.
But that is really a rookie mistake from a real veteran player. And I didn't think he was bad today at all. No, I thought he played well. But again, like I said, the game was won and lost in the boxes. And little moments like that may not be focused about. Everyone's going to focus on the strike, but that strike doesn't happen. And PSG, were a little bit more clinical there with their defending, those last-ditch efforts that, prevented us from having chances like that.
100%. Just what are your thoughts on our Champions League series this far?
It's further than we've been in years. The performance against Real Madrid was unbelievable. And this is a team that without a striker, without our Gabriel in the back, and slightly trying to figure out your injuries to Saka, injuries to Odegaard. They haven't been able to play with a consistent team, and they've done incredibly well. And I thought they played really well. For a lot of the games today, they played really, really well. But if any game's going to highlight why we need a striker, I think a game like this does. And Mourinho's been great there, and I think if we actually signed Mourinho as a striker in January, people would be talking about him being a great striker. But the truth is that he doesn't have enough pace, and he plays more as a false 9 and drops in more into even like a 10 role. And we have Martinelli, who really likes to play really wide on the wing, and Saka likes to take the ball on the other wing, and neither of them like to cut in and take that pass underneath. And that's a problem there just from a tactical standpoint, where they almost want to play like a 4-3-1-2, and you have 2 guys on the wing that don't want to play that 2 right and left striker. They want to play as wingers, and I think tactically it just doesn't make sense.
Looking ahead, Liverpool this weekend. Just what are your thoughts on our Premier League top 4 race?
Well, from a Premier League standpoint, first of all, at this point, it's actually it's top 5 this season.
Top 5,
but we just have been poor, all season in the Premier League, and there's not enough, again, emphasis in front of goal. I'm sick and tired of seeing them play well, and then 60th minute after, just give up a stupid goal. And I've seen it way too much this year. There's a lack of focus, at times, and in football, you should be able to dominate games and actually win consistently 1-0. and we used to be able to do that. I haven't seen that this season, and I think that's just kind of an emphasis on what this team has been. I do want to talk about one thing since we talked, a little bit just from a statistical standpoint. I've liked Martinelli for years, but on the left side, we have not been the same since Granit Xhaka has actually left that team, and I have seen the lack of overlap for a guy that likes to cut inside. All he does is step over the ball, step over the ball, step over the ball, and nothing happens. Do you know how many passes he had today? How many passes do you think Martinelli had today?
Probably over 10.
7. He played 70 minutes. He had 70 minutes, 7 passes. Sorry, but that is unacceptable. Every time he gets the ball in the corner, it's a step over, step over, step over, and there's nothing that happens. Okay? And he drives and he drives and he drives. And at the end, when we don't have guys that have that ruthless aggression in front of goal to be able to have that knack to scoring, knack to finding the positions, just driving and throwing a ball into the box, hoping something happens, isn't effective from a tactical standpoint on this team. And we walk. How many times are we going to walk away saying we created chances? This game especially, but the ball didn't go in the net, and we saw that today more than anything else. And I'm not even going to focus on the chance that Saka had at the end. That was our best chance of the game, but I just think from a tactical standpoint, we need to slightly regroup as a team, probably slightly change up some strategies here and bring in some guys in the summer and honestly let some guys go. This isn't a rant. This team's been fantastic this year at times. And I certainly want, I want to talk about Arteta for a second because I know you're going to interview people that are going to, the question's going to come about Arteta. Please poise the questions on who are we going to get that is a better coach than Arteta that's going to come in day one and be an effective change for this. Because every player that has come to this team that has been good, the Declan Rices of the world, even at the time when Gabi Jesus, came in when we were supposed to be the guy and it just hasn't worked out with injuries. Yeah. Everyone has commented about how Arteta has been the driving force of them coming. So for the Arteta out people, my big question is who are we bringing in that's going to make a positive change, make a positive effect on this club? So let's regroup for next year. It's a tough one to swallow. But that's my thoughts on the game,
100%. Before I let you go,
YouTube TV, baby. YouTube. I got Sandu in the house. Sandu's in the building. 6 years is too much. That's too much. Most biggest Arsenal fan.
How do you not love Arsenal fans, man?
And lastly, before I let you go, anything you want to tell to the fans, just to keep them going, because I know a lot of them are pretty bummed out right now.
Of course, I'm incredibly bummed out. I'm 26. I'm an Arsenal fan since 10 years old. So the 2006, I was really it does have no impact on me. So this is really the first time I've seen Arsenal really have an impact in the Champions League, and it makes a season a lot more. It makes a lot more fun. The atmosphere here and other places I've been is just unbelievable. We have the best fans in the world. We have the worst internet fans in the world, but we certainly have the best fans in person in the world. I fucking love this team. The fans are unbelievable to be a part of, and I can almost say that there's probably half the people here today probably came alone. Wednesday work, just coming here and just talking to other people. The conversations are nonstop, and we got to go again. There's nothing else we could say. We got to go again, okay? And we got to make the signings in the summer to make it happen.